Friday, February 14th, 2020, and it looks like we're going to get a happy Valentine's Day present for the bulls. In this episode, before I go through our indicators to take a look at why I think it looks like it's still going to go blowing off higher, I want to talk about why. We can hear it in the background. Here is a chart, all of the world's money and markets in one visualization. There may be an update, but this 2017 chart tells the whole story. We can see the size of the cryptocurrency market back in 2017. The cryptocurrency market cap was 100 billion, 200 billion at the time. Now we've just come over 300 billion. So Apple is 800 billion. All of cryptocurrencies together, all those projects, Bitcoin and all of that new technology is still not the size of one company. If we scroll down and we start to look at the size of money compared to cryptocurrencies and look at gold, and cryptocurrencies are 2 or 3, maybe 4 of these squares, cryptocurrencies are very small. We're not even as big as some of the stocks. All of the cryptocurrencies. Soon, all of the cryptocurrencies will be the size of a stock market. And when they go and they take over 3 rows of these squares, it's going to be more money than we are used to looking at. So I'll quickly go down through this and take a look at what is this, the global money supply. Then we go down to the global debt. And then we scroll down and we see the global real estate. Always good to pick up some real estate. And then as you scroll down, you see the derivatives market, the low end of the market, the estimate for derivatives market. And we scroll and we scroll and we scroll and we scroll. And we get to the high end of the estimate for the derivatives market. This is that's a lot. And that's Bitcoin. Maybe 4 squares now for all of the cryptocurrencies. And so what we're seeing now is the beginning of an avalanche of 2 or 3 of these rows moving over into cryptocurrencies. And we can see it in the cryptocurrency market cap here, coin market cap. And what I want to point out here is this monumental 1, 2, 3 bottom formation setting up here. This is a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation of epic proportions. It started off in January of 2019. It topped in July of 2019. We have the number 3 point now in January of 2020. That's taken a full year for this to build up now. And we've got a 3-year cycle coming up from the breakout of this bottom formation. At least 3 years of up and pull back of all Bitcoin and all of the altcoins. And so I'm anticipating that it's really important not just to have a diversified portfolio as we've set up by using the bull market watch, but also now to be watching for when to be adding on to these trades so that we are bigger on these winning trades and we are increasing our investment because everything is really already proving us correct. There may be a pullback from where we are here, but we'll have to watch closely as market cap comes up to that 145, 150 billion in the alts. But of course, it was in January that all of this stuff really happened. We can see in our Bitcoin dominance, as Bitcoin prices were going up and Bitcoin dominance was dropping, that was the moment. As our 12-hour exponential moving average crossed over here at this 1, 2, 3 top formation, we had the signal, we were giving that out all over the place, and we were talking about it in our bull market watch. The phenomenal thing is that we were tracking all of this stuff through here. We could see in September and in October, and then finally here in January, as we are going into hold status, we're diversifying our portfolios and opening our umbrella basically. And you can see some of the results now, live results from our spreadsheet from slowly building out our portfolio as things were setting up. Really astonishing results just starting out. And so the altcoins are the most exciting thing for me coming up. You can just see it in the coin market cap that we have an enormous future coming up in this. And now, just before we get into the Bitcoin prices, you can get this trading system by going over to the website and putting your email address in. You'll get the webinar, you'll get the companion study guide that goes along with it, and you can learn how we set up these portfolios, or you can come and join us on the Bull Market Watch or the Pro Alerts and get this trading system assistance with our services. Now, let's jump into Bitcoin prices and go through our routine of the indicators. just eyeballing this, I got to go out to the weekly time frame and start out here, because this is the long-term plan that I've been watching for a long time. And I am expecting that sometime the RSI on the weekly is going to have to come back and touch this trend line. I don't know if it's going to blast up to these levels and then come back and set a new bottom as we're going through this long uptrend, but it will be coming back sometime. So I want to zoom in on this top formation and see, is this where it's breaking? Is this the divergence that is where it's going to be breaking? This should be telling us if this trend line is breaking as we're coming down, then we are topping, right? Every time it tops. But as you can see here, we've got room up above that we can still really take a big move up here. That seems to be what it's building up to do right now. And as we went through this period of time here, I recall it was a very large expectation that this would be a resistance area and prices would pull back from here. And prices melted right through it like there was nothing. So it wouldn't be unexpectable for it to do the same thing right from where we are right now in one of these waves to move its way up. So very keen time, and I'm very excited to be doing the video on it. Let's zoom in so that we are checking out this divergence. Really nothing showing us different there, except we have a clear line as to where to watch for weakness. As we're going into the 4-hour time frame, this is a potential 1, 2, 3 top formation. If it breaks down below these levels, it would confirm. And if it did that, we would see the RSI breaking below these levels, and that would be confirming our top formation. So we've got two different things to look for here on the 4-hour time frame with the RSI. And yet, of course, if it continues to build up higher than this as we're breaking higher, and then the RSI is staging higher and we're getting support, there's the next stage of the blow off top that I think that will really be rocketing. Let's zoom in onto the next indicator. The weekly view of the on-balance volume. We still haven't had that big rush of volume yet. We've had steady volume, and I like this, that we've had volume increasing as this is going up. Now, if we zoom in on it, let's get the nature of this. It's been nice. It's been steady. It hasn't been strong and then pulling back in less volume as we're coming up to these levels. It's looking steady buying. As we go into the 12-hour time frame, it looks like somebody turned on a switch right there, and the buying was turned on. Chug, 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 away we go. Now the FOMO is going to build in. Now the excitement's going to build up. And it feels to me, just by looking at this, like that first beginning of the blow-off top, that first beginning of the arch of the parabolic move. And we have the support for it here. So here at the 4-hour time frame, we can double check things right at the front as we're coming up to the edge. I do like documenting it. I don't know when it'll break, but one of these times we'll come back in and say, hey, look at that. There it is. We had the stronger buy and the less strong buy, and we had a good swath of selling right there to staunch the entire top and the entire, this could be it. We'll tune in next episode to see what comes in. But when we go into the MACD on the weekly time frame, this cross to the positive here is insanely bullish to me in the long term, really long-term trend. The daily time frame is still parallel channels up. The one thing I'm looking at in the daily is that the histograms have turned a little bit weaker here as we're coming up, and this crosses over. That would be a weakness sign, and I want to see it in the shorter time frames. 12 hours is close to crossing negative. It's close to blasting positive. It can do either. And it's gone quite a bit higher when it's blasting positive. So it's all good right there. No real sign. There were times in the past where I would have called this a bearish divergence. But I know now that this is probably a consolidation to be blasting higher. And it's part of the oscillation of the shorter time frames. And so the 4-hour will oscillate more than the 12-hour, but this will confirm. It will cross to the positive, and the 12 will start to spread apart and go wider to the positive as this is breaking up. We'll see those two happening. And if we go into the closer time frame and we're looking at the 1-hour, it is already turning positive and starting to flare, which is these two lines going wider apart, flaring out wider. So this shows me strength from here, strength and more strength, and then flaring as we're coming up. That shows support that is, consistent with the volume that we had. Now, the Ichimoku cloud is interesting because this may give us the first advance warning of when it is topping out. I want to pay attention to how this is unfolding, because the last time we went up through a green cloud, it was a failure and things came back. The blue line crossed above the red for a bit, but then it failed back and the red line stayed below the blue. So it went back to a bearish stance from this, and we can clear this off and move the chart back to way back in history when this happened. And now you can see what I was talking about, that the blue line did come up above the red, but then it failed and came back down below. So we did come up above the green cloud, but then we failed our way back. So I want to pay attention to that, just in case we are setting up to something similar right now as we go in. So the shorter time frames should be telling us. As we get in there, it'll tell us first. And the daily time frame is interesting, actually. This is really flaring wider. And I don't know what the flaring wider means, but we'll pay attention to it now as this unfolds on the daily time frame. The 12-hour time frame is still doing good. It's all bullish here. The 4-hour time frame is also still holding all bullish on all signs here. And the 1-hour time frame has come up above the cloud now. All we're waiting for is for the twist to the positive, and we'll have all of the buy signal indicators for the 1-hour time frame. So this is also supporting a blast off from here. Let's go and see what the Bollinger Bands are saying, because we've really moved our way right across the whole band in the weekly, all the way up now. And let's zoom into the daily time frame. We're snuggling all the way along this second standard deviation, moving our way up along that trend as the Bollinger Band does. It'll just stay right along this band here until we peak out and we do the mean reversion drop back. That's pretty much what I think we're watching for now. And as we're going along, it doesn't seem like it's blasted crazy out of there yet, but the band is narrowing. It looks like there's something big coming. The 1-hour time frame narrowed down. Now it's widening as we push against the top here. And so as I'm doing this episode, it seems like the buying indicator, or the confirmation that it is going higher at least, seems to be unfolding as the episode is unfolding too. So that'll wrap it up for now. We've gone through all of the indicators. There is bullishness shaping up on all frames, and that's crazy at the top like this. But the more important thing for me is what is going on with the altcoins, because they really are outperforming Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going up against US dollar. Altcoins are going up against Bitcoin. So that means they're going up against US dollar, plus they're going up against Bitcoin. They are double winning. So $1 in Bitcoin would be worth, $1.30. But $1 in altcoins here would be $1.30 if they'd stayed even, but now they're worth $1.60 or whatever. You're getting actually your dollar turned into much more over this period of time if you were holding altcoins than if you were holding Bitcoin. So don't pay attention to the US dollar of your altcoins now. Pay attention to the Bitcoin value, and when this starts to pull back and top off, then there may be a time to take some profits on these alts. And it wouldn't be unexpectable, really, for this to make a little hesitation and pull its way back. But if we are going to look at history and finish up this episode just by looking at what happened in the past, the downtrend happened quickly and deeply, and it only paused a little bit before it went on another big trend. And so we really could be looking for these first two targets, which are the just normal support and resistance of where Bitcoin dominance has been in the past. And it may be that altcoins gain a significant market share, and we'll watch really carefully for altcoin top formations as we're coming to the Bitcoin dominance at these support and resistance levels. So that's it for this episode. It looks like we're going to get a blow off top in Bitcoin, and the altcoins are also going up at the same time. This is the most important time to be getting ready with your exit strategy. On the downtrend, we're watching for the bottom formations all the time, but now that we're into these trades, now we're watching for the top formations and our exit strategy. This is identified by most people who have taken my course as their worst skill, is knowing when to get out of a trade, when to take profits, when to stop being a bag holder. Now is the time to be a bag holder, and it's the time to be planning out. When do I get out? Planning it specifically. We should be able to see it just as well as we could see this bottom formation coming in. We saw the double bottom. We counted this as a 1, 2, 3 and gave this as our signal right here. Then we were expecting it to pull back, and as it did, it gave us the internal 1, 2, 3. We gave another signal right there. Now we're just sitting back and holding and just watching. We're going to be watching for the top formation to see where to take some of the profit. And if you've had trouble with your altcoin trades and you've wondered when to take profits, this is another important benefit of the altcoin bull market watch. Knowing exactly when we get our exits is the next most important thing. We've got 120 hold status coins, but wait till we get those exits, and it's important to be getting out of the coins at that time. Thanks so much for watching all the way through this episode. Good luck in your Bitcoin trading. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.